The Rap Roundtable.
Benny the Butcher finally releases the long-awaited, eagerly anticipated Everybody Can't Go, the Def Jam debut. And I gotta say, fellas, from what I've heard in the rhymes, I don't want to call it a concept album, but it was pretty clear that Benny the Butcher is in a different place in his life. And the album title is not just a name for the sake of a name. Everybody Can't Go.
Yes.
And it's not just the niggas in the rhymes. It might be some of the people who's listening to him. But nevertheless, it's the Rap Roundtable. It's your boy Joff here alongside Sincere the Rap Snob, alongside Deanie the Balance, alongside the homie Mace. And as you heard in the prologue, it's all about Benny the Butcher. You know what I'm saying? So, on the rarest of occasions, you know, I'm gonna bat lead off here. You know, I usually let my brothers cook, but I think I've been anticipating this moment for Benny for quite a while, and I'm excited to talk about this album.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, you know, I got to talk about the production. I like, you know, I wasn't sure how they were gonna lay it out. They being Hit Boy and Alchemist. Then when you pull up the track list, with the exception of one moment late in the album where Hit Boy goes back to back, they basically alternated tracks throughout the project. And in a lot of cases, that could potentially be jarring. But I think that the sonics of this project, Benny, Alk, Hit Boy, whoever the A&R is, whoever the executive producer is, they did a great job of putting this project together track for track. In my opinion, this album flows very well. Like, there's never a moment where I felt like this song did not belong here. So I want to say that specifically from the vibe. We'll get into the music itself in a second. But the vibe of each record, these guys made a great project. I really would like to see more artists. I think we go back to when Hit Boy and Alchemist did the record together last year. And we saw how the trend, it was almost like, in hindsight, that was a teaser for what the Benny album would sound like. You know what I'm saying? But to the music of it all, I enjoyed this project. Let's get the obvious out the way. This is not a classic. Like, if you come on the internet today or whenever you hear this album and you say that Everybody Can't Go is a classic, you're not telling the truth. But I do think it's a really good album. I do like the music. I think, you know, outside of the singles, you know what I'm saying? We heard Broad. We heard Big Dog, Jermaine's Graduation. As an intro, I would have preferred something a little more grandiose, but I think, again, like I said at the top of this, considering this feels kind of like a concept album to me, it really set the tone for where Benny was trying to go with it. It's a very dark album. Like, he's telling you, it's somewhere in the middle of a guy who's in the street and the guy in the industry who's heading in a different trajectory. But for me, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But TMVTL, bro, my God, 3 different beats, 3 different complete vibes. Alchemist completely in his bag.
Yep.
To me, as outside of the songs we knew about in the intro, this is where the album takes off. Like, all right, this is where we're gonna be at. Love the record. Back again with Snoop, I had my concerns about it. I was like, what kind of music is this gonna be? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then Snoop did the hook. Because so I get concerned where it's like, why is Snoop on this album? Immediately when I first saw it on the track list, I'm like, this is gonna be a skip for me. Off the rip, this is gonna be a skip. But then when I heard it, I'm like, oh, all right, this is ill. This is ill, bro. But, you know, I don't want to talk too much because I want to pass the rock around. Yes. Pillow Talk and Slander. All right, Ben, you got it. I'm sold. I like the music. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're seeing, I don't want to call it growth, but there's expansion, a little more maturity in the direction of his career. I'll talk more about what I heard and who I think Benny is as an artist a little bit later in the reaction. But musically, I think Big Timers was a dud at the end. I think 1 through 11, I'm rocking with you. You know, we got this thing where I can say personally, in real time, there's no skips for me. But Big Timers is the skip. I was rocking 1 through 11, and then I heard 12. I'm like, this is how you gonna end the album? Come on, man. What is this? That was the first time at any point in the listening where I felt like this. Like, I like the sonics. The beat was a great beat. I think Peasy did his thing, but I don't think that's how you should have ended the album. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a strong finish to a strong album, in my humble opinion. But I'm gonna pass it off to Macito. You know what I'm saying? Give me some takes. What do you think about Everybody Can't Go?
Everybody Can't Go. The world famous album everybody been waiting on, most anticipated, like Benny said. Good takes, y'all. Overall, it's a good album, right? And I think being the most casual Benny fan between us four is an interesting place to be, because I think Benny made this for like the Benny casual, right? This is the Def Jam album. More people are seeing him than ever, you know what I mean? So a lot of people are coming into this experience with more, not Benny lifers, like my guy said, you know what I mean? So I think when they hear this album, they're gonna get a good feel for the type of artist he is. You know what I mean? Benny, there's no bars taken off here. You know what I mean? Absolutely no bars taken off. And Benny's one of those rappers where he can bar you up, but he's not boring you to death. He's not just rapping for the sake of rapping. You know what I mean? He's not, you know what I mean, trying to get off some metaphor that, you know what I mean, you're gonna think it's hot today and forget tomorrow type shit. Like, Benny's a rapper that, you know what I mean? Like, he got those, those Jay-Z bars, those shits that you can use every day. You know what I mean? So I appreciated hearing him at the top of his game. Job, I gotta disagree with you. Back Again could go home, man. I did not like that record. Snoop on the Hook, yeah, I didn't like that record. And just like you say, I like the Peasy record, but it's very jarring at the end of the album, right? Like, he could have threw this somewhere in somewhere.
Why was Griselda Express not the last?
That
would have been
Express
perfect.
was the clear album ender, right? Like, I don't know what he was thinking about that. That was the clear album ender. Jermaine's Graduation, I love the song, but just like you say, I would have liked to hear some horns on some Cameron That's Me type shit off of SDE. Like, I wanted something, something grandiose, like you said. But one thing I have to say about this album is that it flows so well. You know what I mean? Like, just like you said, Job, like when you got Alchemist and you got Hit Boy and Benny himself, who makes great projects. Let's not take anything away from Benny. Like, Benny has a very consistent discography. So the way the album flows, you know what I mean? Excellent features. Benny, Wayne showed up, Stove showed up, Armani showed up, Jada and Benny, I don't think they've missed yet, you know what I mean, on any song. Those two have been together. And Griselda Express, classic Griselda fare, but just like you say, Job, there's a couple things that keep it from being a classic, or even a classic Benny record, right? Oh. I think that the songs are too short, guys. The songs are too short.
Talk to him.
Oh yeah.
Like, every time, I was really like, oh, this is about to be that shit. I looked down and it was like the last verse. The beat is like fading out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I get where Benny's coming from, because you can Benny's working with the algorithm here. He's you know what I mean? He's giving you those 6 and 7 minute songs, those 5 verse songs. He's done that. You know what I mean? So he's trying something different here. You know what I mean? On the Def Jam release. You know what I mean? But at some of these songs need third verses, bro. You know what I mean? You Truth, more or TMVTL. I forgot the actual acronym. That's the best song on here. Just like you said, that's the best song on here.
Trust more valuable than love.
Trust more valuable than love. So I think it's a very strong record. If somebody never heard Benny, they heard, oh, this is, the guy who's with Griselda, he used to be with Eminem, now he's with Def Jam. I think they're gonna be happy to hear this record. I think for the new Benny fan, they're gonna hear this and they're gonna run back to see what the rest of his discography is like. But for somebody who knows Benny a little bit better, I know he can do a little bit better, is all I'm saying,
Fair play. So say the raps now. Talk to me, bro. We've talked about this album again. You are the Griselda forefather for the rap roundtable. Talk to us, man.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna pick up where Mace left off here. It's a good album. It's not a classic. It's a good album. For me, it feels a little safe. That's my grade. Okay. It just feels safe. It feels like it didn't take that many risks. Sort of the flip side of what Mace was saying. Mace was giving you the positive angle of it. But as somebody that's a fan that's been a Griselda fan and a Benny fan for some years now, and I think back on Tana Talk 3, I think back on Plugs I Met, Burden of Proof, even Tana Talk 4, and some people might say it's unfair to judge this project against his previous projects. It should stand on its own merit. But I can't help it. I can't help but compare, and I also can't help but remember, what he said about his Def Jam debut, and it's going to be better than DMX's first album. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of context surrounding this project to where there's a level of expectation, and then I hear it and I'm like, okay, it's good, but it's safe. It's quality beats, quality bars. He's definitely dropping gems on there. Very similar to what May said, like it's not rhyming for the sake of rhyming. He's telling you his story. He's giving you his account of the space, the game, the 1 foot in, 1 foot out aspect of it all. And he's dropping some jewels in there. So I definitely appreciate all that. But for me, I was waiting for, TMVTL aside, because that's an exceptional song right there. You know what I mean? 3 Alchemist beats in one, the beat switches, crazy. You know what I mean? But other than that, I was waiting for a wow moment, a wow factor. I was waiting for another Screwface moment. You know what I mean? Again, when I'm thinking back on Broken Bottles or 97 Ho from Tenant Talk 3, or when I'm thinking about Took the Money to the Plug's house, man, the way that hook just hits you, you know what I mean? Joints off of Burden of Proof, Silence, Sly Green, War Paint, bro. Like, I know what Benny's capable of, and I understand that, like May said, this might be something that's geared more towards a more casual fan. But I'm the rap snob. I'm never gonna like when artists want to appease to the casual fan, and when they try to play it safe. You know what I mean? Give me what I was expecting. Give me that Tana Talk 3. Give me that Plugs I Met energy. Give me that wow factor. Give me that Screwface music. Or, you know what I mean? Try again later. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I got some favorites. You know what I mean? I actually think Jermaine's Graduation was a good intro in terms of I understand what y'all saying, and this is something that I had been asking for, something more grandiose, maybe something with some horns on it, like May said. But I understand the angle that he took with it, because it was a more personal intro. Sometimes an intro is just like, let me give you this slow introduction into who I am and what I'm talking about. So I appreciated it in that respect. Braun is, we had already heard it, still knocks. It's an early high on the album. I actually like Big Dog now more than I did when I first heard it in the run, as the album is running through. Then later on, TMVTL, Griselda Express, crazy. I was just like Mace. I wasn't too crazy about the Snoop record, and Big Time is at the end. Just that was a head scratcher. I didn't understand it. Other than that, everything else it's good, but I was expecting a little more.
There you go. They need a balance. So where we at?
Strangely, a little bit of what all of y'all are saying, and then a little bit of not at the same time. I fucked with Jermaine's Graduation. Like Sin just spoke on it. I thought it was clear cut. I thought this was a great Who I Am. This wasn't Dreams and Nightmares. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the grandiose joint to just blow you out the water right away. This was like, this is who I am. Talked about his mom's bout with drug addiction, which I thought was just deep, because that's personal on a deeper level. You get what I'm saying? But I just thought it just showed that balance of the hustler, you know what I'm saying, where there's so many wins, but there's so many losses. I thought that was fire. Braun, we've talked about Braun 100 times. The song is fire. Big Dog does sound way better in the tone of the album than it did by itself. I talked about that a while back too. TMV, you're right. But in conjunction with the album, as a flow,
as it's flowing through, it's a good album.
It works, bro. TMVTL, he got one. Like, Benny has officially gotten one. I like Back Again.
When you say got one, what do you mean?
That's a song that we will be able to say, yo, Benny will be able to point to that song like the way we could point to, maybe this is like a Where I'm From Hove, where you just know that's his joint. This might be something like this for Benny.
Okay.
Back Again, I digged. One for that. I loved it when I heard it, and I still fuck with it. Shout out to Armani Caesar. You gotta get. at this point, I think, I hate to say it, but almost every album pretty much needs a little lady energy. You get what I'm saying? Whether it's on a hook, whether it's in a verse, whether it's like background sonics, whatever you want. They bring a certain life to a record. You know what I'm saying? We've been saying Benny needs to link with a female, maybe help him get that R&B vibe in. And I thought Armani Caesar did right. She's a good rapper.
She's dope.
Pillow Talk and Slander. I'll never go wrong with Kid. Shout out to Babyface Ray. I thought that was a good record. How to Rap, maybe my second favorite joint on the album. The way that joint drops, like I was washing dishes, bro, when I was listening to the album. And pause, man, my swipe, my wax on, wax off got a little better, man. Like the dishes got extra clean. Put it that way. There was you know me, man. I love to get a good knot. What else we fucking with? Griselda Express. Now, this might be the best posse cut I've heard in a long time. Maybe like the next one before that might be, what's that shit off Benny album? Where it was Stove, Rome, him. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
That might be the last time I felt like, whoa, this was a very interesting combination to do. Shout out to Rick Hodge, showed up, really showed up. West Side on the hook, I'm sold. You know me on the West Side hook. I'm gonna fuck with it.
Conway bodied that.
Hooked.
Conway bodied that.
Now, where I agree and disagree with you guys is on the Big Thomas joint. It's probably my least favorite record on the album. Hence, why I don't mind it being completely loud, bro.
You're just gonna make believe it's not there.
I'll just pretend it's not there if I don't want to hear it. You get what I'm saying? Now, conversely, if it was maybe the third song on the album, it might have fucked up the whole flow of the album, bro. And secondly, or thirdly, this shit really ain't for us, my nigga. This is that song he could have. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the intermission in the strip club when it's time to change. When it's time to change the joints out, you could play that, bro. That joint got a nice little bounce for it to vibe in an outer setting. Overall, Mace, you spoke about it. There's not one wasted bar in this album, bro. Everything is intentional. Everything is calculated. Everything is meticulous. Very cinematic. I look at Benny different today than I did yesterday as far as the album he made. Now, y'all mentioned the word classic. You know what I'm saying? And I have to acknowledge, bro, like, we're never going to get a one-day classic, my nigga. We're not going to listen to an album one day and be like, it's a classic.
But you can also hear the one
classic
day and
feel.
It's not going to be a classic.
That's true. Classic feel. I get what you're saying when you say classic feel. Is this something that's going to compel me to come back? Am I going to want to listen to this, like, in all settings? Man, I'm there. Like, you got production from Alchemist and Hit Boy. The best of the old vibes and the best of the new vibes combined for your project. Like setting you up beautifully back to back to back. Man, I really fuck with the album, bro. As a whole.
I respect that. So, you know, let's start at you know, you said cinematics. And I gotta say, I vehemently disagree. I think that's exactly what this album is missing. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, like, Sid nailed it, you know, when he said it was safe. Like, to me, Burden of Proof takes you on more of a ride than this album, The Journey. Again, like, I do like, when you said no wasted bars, I do like that. Again, it's like, I know he didn't say it was a concept album, but for me, Benny is literally how I take this album. He's at a fork in the road in his life, and he chose the path. And this Def Jam album, and what it sounds like and what he's aiming for, he chose it. He's been telling the boom bap heads that, yeah, I could always do the boom bap shit, but I want to expand the sound. He retweeted a tweet where a person was like, everybody who's in the underground space is kind of making the same albums. It's time to expand and try to do some new shit. So this is what Everybody Can't Go is all about. Yeah, we did the Plugs I Met series. We did the Tanner Talks. You know what I'm saying? I did the Burden of Proofs. I'm ready to do something else. My question to Benny the Butcher is, sonically, is this the something else?
Well, this is where I'll jump in because, and again, we have to go back to what is Def Jam doing? What is Def Jam's role in this project, in this debut, in signing him? Was there not some sort of notion that they would help expand his horizons, help him spread his wings a little bit, you know, connect him with different producers? And absolutely zero. I want to be 100% abundantly clear. This is zero knock on Hit Boy and Alchemist because they did their thing on this album. They've been doing their thing for years, but we've heard Benny and Alchemist many times before.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard Benny and Hit Boy many times before.
Got a whole album from them, basically.
Right, and to me, it's like, where's the different sonics? Where's the different energies coming from a producer that Benny may not have worked with before? And that's where I think that was Def Jam's job, to make connections for him that he would not have made on his own, or he hadn't made on his own yet. And I'm like, I'm gonna push back against that. Benny has these relationships already. Like he didn't need Def Jam to make this album. Well,
let's be clear. We got to pull it back. In 2024, you're not going to a label to get you other producers. You know, I think what Def Jam is doing is getting him placements that he probably wouldn't normally get, or he probably should be at, like the On the Radar joint. Like
looks,
the looks have increased. Even shit. I was listening to Everybody Can't Go last night when it dropped, and then I looked at one of the Apple Music playlists. It was like, I think it was like the relaxing rap or some shit like that. Like I forgot what exactly the name of the playlist is, but he's getting placed, and it was an album cut. It was the Everybody Can't Go song, and it was in an Apple Music playlist. Like now, like the budget is there to where you could because these should say happening for free. We know that.
I see what you're saying, but
so
I the label. I feel like I come from an era where you come to a label.
That's not a
guy.
Yeah, but that's not how it works anymore, son. That's not what we talk. Again, over. You gotta let that shit go. You know what I'm saying?
Saying it sound like you one of the ones that can't go, bro.
Yeah, that's the reality. This is where we at right now. We gotta have a conversation. Like, it's pretty clear that he had full autonomy in the creative process of the album. Like, Def Jam was just here to get here, get this. Remember how we talked to Rome, and he was like, "Yo, you already got the shit. Now I'm gonna put you on a bigger platform." Benny's ahead of Rome in that regard. Now, Def, as opposed to signing the Griselda, Benny signed the Def Jam. You already got the product. Here's more looks. You got the Rock Nation affiliations. Here's more looks. But back to the music. You guys all talked about it, and I want to point out the songs. Braun, Everybody Can't Go, One Foot In, Buffalo Kitchen Club, How to Rap. All of these songs come in at under 3 minutes. I have a big problem with that because all of these songs are some of the best songs on the album, and it ends abruptly. It's not even like, some of these 2-minute songs, they kind of flow well. All of these songs feel like it should still be going. To me, that's a problem, Sin. Yeah. Like Dini, I got a big issue with that. Like, to me, that killed the listening experience for me. Again, not the songs itself, they're not bad, but it's like, how can it be a classic when I feel like these songs feel like interludes?
Yeah. And I mean, again, the third verse, the lack of a third verse epidemic still going on. What's even more egregious now is the cutting off of the beat, like abruptly. Like, you don't even have it fade out. Because I mean, a beat like Braun, that shit is knocking, bro. Like, when Benny stops rapping, let me vibe out to the beat a little bit longer as it fades out and goes into the next song. Now, sometimes in the flow of an album, it works to where, you cut a song off immediately because the next song hits right back to back. You know what I mean? But that's few and far between. Like, a lot of times songs just end abruptly for no other reason than you're just, load management or, attention span management. I don't know what it is, but like, this shit is crazy. It's gotten out of hand these days, man.
And Dini, you mentioned How to Rap. Like, to me, that's one of the more jarringly short records. Like, it's a concept record that's under 3 minutes. You know what I mean? I was waiting for more content on that record. The Armani Caesar record. Like, they rap back and forth, and then where's the verse where they go back and forth on some Jada style shit? You know what I mean? It's right there, bro.
Here's my answer to that, Mason.
Everybody Can't Go the song. The title track short as fuck. Like, come on, bro.
You absolutely right. And here's my opinion why I think that is. for all we know, there was third verses to those songs, but maybe those third verses kind of like altered the song in a way that's not positive for the record. Like, think of, you go to a fucking restaurant, you know what I'm saying? You got a 3-course meal. The first 2 courses are amazing. Last course sucks. It's gonna fuck up the entire meal, bro. You're gonna be thinking about the badness of that
times, Dini?
And attention, that's a 40-minute album, bro. It's in the attention span of what you're gonna get today. Like, if that shit was an hour and 20 minutes, we might not be talking the same way right now.
I want to be clear. We know the algorithm. There's a that's how the game is played today. But go ahead.
Right. And I would just to piggyback off what Dina was saying, because I kind of see what he's saying, even though I still don't like it. But like the same way that, remember the other day, John, when you was listening to that D'Angelo whole record and you were like, God damn, this song is still on? What the fuck? Like, that's how audiences today feel about 4 and 5 minute songs. You know what I mean? The way we felt about a 9-minute song, that's how they'll feel about like a 5-minute song and a third verse. It's bad times, but like that's what it is. So I see what Dini's saying. Like, if it's out playing somewhere, you don't want to feel like as an artist you're overstaying your welcome on somebody's attention span in 2024.
That's fair.
On average, you have to cater to that group, because I hate to say it. On average, the 40-year-old's not going out buying the album. On average, the 40-year-old's not going out, going to the show. You know what I'm saying? So you do have to cater to the people that are gonna put the money in your hands. Like, it is what it is. It's still a business. Hashtag it, whatever you want to do.
We gotta play the game. And you know what? We talked about Big Thomas earlier. This is the last time I'm going to be negative before I get into like the positive shit. I just want to make sure I get it all out the way. You know what I'm saying? Big Thomas, we know why it's there. That song is not meant for us. Again, every decision Benny has made, I want to be clear. Benny happens to hear this. We understand every choice made on this project. As consumers, we're just giving our opinions. Big Thomas is there to be kind of another boppy, alongside like Big Dog, right? But as an artist, if you gotta chase that, then maybe you shouldn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Benny, that type of record, that's not for Benny. Like, you could still move units and stream up and not have to deliberately or overtly chase a certain region or a certain sound. You know what I'm saying? You could just make some fire. You know what I mean? We keep telling y'all, we keep saying it at the Rap Roundtable, but y'all hard-headed. Go make you a street record or a nice little street love record. Go get you a little R&B songstress.
Talk about it.
Do the hook for you. Funk Flex posted this young lady on his Instagram yesterday, and I shared it on mine. I'm about to pull it up right now because I want to say her name. I want to give the credit where it's due, and of course, when I need it there, the story has already expired. But I really want to put her out there because I feel like she's dope as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's a shorty named Honey. She kind of is Honey Baby. She has like that Keisha Cole kind of tone. You know what I'm saying? That raspy R&B vibe, but she can easily slide over and do some street shit. And I'm like, why are we not doing this? Why I keep thinking that y'all got to make a Southern record to go crazy? It don't have to be that. Again, because then some New York niggas can do that and it's fire. What I'm trying to say is that for the Bennys of the world, I listen to Big Dog, I listen to this, and it's like, wow, Big Dog, we like it more. Our initial reaction was to recoil when we heard it because it's like, this is not the vibe we need Benny on. The same thing with this other record here, Big Thomas. That's not for you, gang. You know what I'm saying? You can find ways to get your streams up. But y'all gotta stop being afraid. Sin said, I'm gonna repeat it. Sin said it earlier in the album. Safe. That's the challenge for y'all rappers now. Stop being so safe. Stop. In 1 minute, Benny, you argue with the fans and calling them nerds, but then you literally gave them an album that they would like. I'm confused.
Well, but just it's sheer instinct. They're not gonna like the Hit Boy records. They're just gonna immediately hate it.
Touche.
So, yeah.
Touche. But overall, now that I got my feelings off, since said the rap snob, Griselda Express.
Griselda Express is
yo. Rick Hard rose to the occasion.
Fam.
Yo, listen.
Can we
Sure
talk
did.
about that record for a second? Can we all like talk about that?
Let's
'Cause,
talk
yo,
about
like,
it.
Like,
Listen,
listen,
Griselda
in
Express is what I came for, bro.
Yes.
Griselda Express is what I came for. And I wanted to push back real quick on what you
War,
said about Big
War Paint
Thomas.
2?
I'm not gonna put it up
going
there.
to Big
That's
Thomas,
a
we
lot.
gotta go back to Griselda Express because I got something to say about that record, sis.
All right,
I
bet.
got-
Nah, Griselda Express is crazy. It should have been the closer on the album. It would have been the perfect closer, quality wise, energy wise, and just like the sentiment of, you know what I mean? Like, everybody can't go, but these brothers are still coming along with me. You know what I mean? These are the guys that I came up with. It's still Griselda all day, every day. That would have been the perfect exclamation point at the end of the album. I don't know why. Just flip Big Thomas and Griselda Express around, and it's a completely different vibe at the end of the album, closing it out. Conway. Listen, I seen Conway last night. That man is special. I hear him on this record. Conway is fucking special. Shouts to Conway. Like, I know we've been going back and forth for some time. Who's better? Just on some friendly shit.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean? Who's better? Conway, Benny. Right now, listen, it's hard pressed finding a better MC than Conway out here, man. Conway really bodied that record, and the whole
Conway
fire,
verse,
bro.
Let's
Crazy.
talk about
Big
the Conway
highlight,
yes.
verse. Y'all didn't
Big
feel
highlight.
like that Conway verse was sublims at Benny's whole situation, bro? Like, am I tripping? Like, did y'all hear the content of the verse? Like,
Well,
Diddy,
you know, Conway problematic. He like to, you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
he like to stir the
was
pot.
dissing Benny on the
Weezy.
record, bro. Yo, listen, I thought that was a very interesting record. Conway basically was telling niggas, like, why get a deal if you ain't getting the money right and if you gotta sell your soul, basically. I'm like, what is Conway doing on this record, bro?
Crashing out.
Damn project.
My nigga. Like,
Crashing out.
Talking spicy.
saved it for the last verse, too. I'm like, all right. I just wanted to know if anybody felt the way like I did. I'm like, because Conway is not on Griselda Records. We know this. Like, he's not signed to Griselda. Like, you look at the Griselda roster, Conway the Machine is not on there. So I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. It reminded me of you know, the old, you know, Locks going at Jay on records and Big dissing them on records days. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Nah, I'm gonna have to spin it back to catch those.
Please.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Report to the group chat, man.
Yes.
Report.
Buffalo Kitchen Club is another one of these records. Granted, I cried about it being short, but we gotta put some respect on Armani Caesar's name. The overall vibe of the record, like the rap, like yo, like Benny is as good as he's ever been. I'm content to say that. You know what I'm saying? But Armani though, why we not talking about Armani more?
Can we get a little hey girl?
Oh, I
Hey,
should.
little dope female energy on the record. Can't
Let's talk
lose,
about
man.
it. You know what I mean? And but it's like it's dope female energy, but it's like she held her own in the past. Fair is fair. In the past, I've not really been in tune. I've maybe skipped her verse. I'll be honest. But on this particular record, I feel like Benny got the best he could get from everyone on each and every feature. Like, again, this album was meticulously crafted. Grant, even if we think it's safe, the bars, the songs, the way the album is, again, like track for track, whoever A&R it, hell of a job. I just want more for Benny, bro. I think I'm not even being a prognosticator on this pod today. I'm a fan. I'm in fan mode today.
Yeah.
I want more for him, bro.
Yeah, me too. That's how I feel about it too.
You know what I'm saying? Like to me, like more horns, Benny. Like, if anything, Braun should have been the fucking intro. If you really being serious about like not just the feel of it.
Yeah.
Imagine you open this project with that sample breathing at the top and them Hit Boy drums come in, bro. Like, come on, son.
Yeah, man.
I keep going back to Rapper Estates, and it's not just because the verse was fire, it's because the way the song felt. And it's like, Benny, this is what you're supposed to be. To me, this should be the series finale of this sound for Benny. Yeah. It's time for you to if we can't go, or whoever it is not trying to go, because I'm trying to go. Wherever Benny's going, I'm going. It's time for a new sound.
And again, for me, if I'm looking at where Benny fits in the space, I'm thinking like somewhere in that Rick Ross kind of space, kind of realm. That he's definitely not a Drake. Who's a Drake? You know what I mean? He's not conscious like Kendrick. You know what I mean? But like if he fits somewhere in that Rick Ross mold, that would be a perfect spot for him. But like again, this is why I'm saying, and I guess this is what's leading me to constantly go back to bigger sound, Benny, like more grandiose, more triumphant sounds for you.
Yes.
The way Rick Ross did. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You mentioned Ross being his place in the game. I think I've always thought Pusha T was kind of his place in the game. And I think he kind of needs to venture away from his Pharrell sound and find his Kanye, is what y'all trying to say, basically.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Where I will give Benny grace is I'll give it from the artist perspective, outside of like, a nigga pod and nigga just basically, giving their opinion on it. It's one person making an album as far as lyrically. And you have millions of people judging this shit, and maybe if you really want to keep it on a different level, you jot down all the critiques you've heard about yourself in the past, all the hard-hitting ones. And you basically try to counteract those fucking things said about you. Basically, niggas say I can't make a record for the ladies, so I make a record for the ladies. Niggas say I can't do this, I do that. It's basically it's a weird place, because even Sin said be safe, but I'm like, let's say the nigga stepped out the box and gave us like some Mr. Mid shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I don't want to say safe, because the nigga could go far left. You get what I'm saying?
But that's an extreme perspective.
Look,
it happens.
21 Savage was just on Shannon Sharp show, and Shannon asked him, do you ever see yourself making like more Drake type music? You know what I mean? The R&B and the more, poppy stuff. And he was like, maybe when I get to his level, because if I try to go left too early, it might fuck up and throw off my entire career. You know what I mean? In the world that we live in, and social media and Twitter and like instant reactions, a lot of artists feel that way. You know what I mean? A lot of artists have that pressure on them where like, I can't divert too much, or, you know what I mean? It might fuck up my whole trajectory.
Plus he's a younger artist. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you got more room to diverge and do shit like that 30 as opposed to 40. You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of shit like that. I just, even when we talked about the last album, for all we know, we could have flipped it and then it ended on the shit with Conway, Rick hiding on it. We might have felt like, yo, why would you end it on that? No, now I want more. You get what I'm saying? I just feel like he was in that studio, he was in that booth when they was doing the placements. That's what Def Jam was there for, to give him we know how you make an album. You make great music. We heard Burn the Proof. We heard all the Tanner talks. We know you get busy, but we need something that we can reach out a little further. And maybe this is safe, but it's safe that most people who hear it will be like, nah, this is some fire though. This is some fire.
All right, so I'll ask you this question now.
Talk to me.
Just for the sake of clarity. If that's Def Jam's perspective, I like the scenario that you built here. What are the songs that's gonna reach said audience on this album?
Well, you got Braun, obviously.
It ain't Braun.
That's gonna reach the people. We're gonna hear this on NBA. We're gonna hear this on NBA TV, bro.
Well, like, from that, but see, you say something. I'm thinking about like just general streaming.
Target.
Artists, as far as like just
Big Dog,
the listeners.
Where's the Target song on here?
Target song
with an edge. Where's that song?
Big Dog did what it was supposed to do.
I would say TMVTL.
Nah, that's a story record, Dean. That's not
for us, gang.
Yeah,
That's
you talking about a hit for the masses? What are you talking
about then? You said Def Jam said we're gonna have music. All right, that's gonna reach a broader audience. I'm trying to figure out what the songs are.
But you still gotta cover your bases. You know what I'm saying? We know what your niggas who listen to, but how can we give the people who listen to you what they want and still be able to open the door? Like, we can't completely change the formula, because you might fuck around and lose. Everyone won't go. You know what I'm saying? You might fuck around and completely lose what you had. That's the hard part of evolution, bro, because you got everything right here. Everybody's fucking with you right here, but you're like, I could go a little higher, but you might lose all the niggas right here once you go a little higher. And you might gain more, you might lose more. It's all a part of the game. Rap is pro wrestling, like you say, bro.
That was a great response, Deanie. That was a great response. Because that kind of, you just surmised exactly the position Benny's in right now. With us, with the new potential fans, the label, everything. You know what I mean?
Giving them what they want and still growing. Pause.
I mean, maybe he need to go back to the Hove playbook. Like we got 97 Hove. 99, even if you didn't like Volume 3, 99 Hove kind of showed you exactly how you're supposed to dibble and dabble in both worlds. You know what I'm saying? Hove ain't really leave us until after he came out of retirement. All of those albums were still somehow semi-block, semi-commercial. He found a way to thread that needle to where I could do both and get the result. And I think maybe he need to go to that whole playbook. Retire 97 Hove, find 98, 99, 01 Hove, and figure out that next play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it starts with, to Sin's point, to Mace's point, new Sonics. That's the challenge. Who's the new producer? No more Derringer. No more Hit Boy. No more.
Even if it's Hit Boy got so many different bags that he can dig into. Like, but he kept going back to the same bag for Benny. Like, he could have hit him with like.
Or maybe Hit Boy should have just did the whole album again.
Remember that beat 30 for Nas?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We didn't even get a thun type on this album.
We didn't. Not a thun.
Right. Jog, I'm trying not to steal your bars, Jog, but you know the producer is right there who he needs to get with.
Boomin'?
It's Metro, man.
Metro.
The orchestra records, get with Metro. Then you gonna have the Weekend plug. You gonna be around 21. That's gonna be a more honest.
Huge.
They don't want to hear it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
they don't want to. They don't see the vision.
A Benny Future record would be crazy.
I've been saying it for a year and a half now.
Come on.
Metro and Benny. That is the next evolution of everything. You can
this
still do street shit with Metro.
This is what I'm saying. You under the Def Jam umbrella, you could talk to somebody at the label. Hey, you got a contact for Metro, like that would, you know what I mean? Just for one song on the album, that's it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I like what this album has done for us as a podcast, because like everybody not being able to go and Benny being a fork in the road in this career and all of this, like we're kind of stuck here. You know what I'm saying? Because we like the album, but I get the sense that the Rap Roundtable was disappointed. Am I wrong?
Disappointment is a strong word. I'm not gonna say
just wanted a little more, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because I know what Benny's capable of, and we've heard it in the past. You know what I mean?
Skill, man.
Right.
And he's like that. Shit. Yeah. We seen what I would like. It didn't even have like a Scary Hours like kind of vibe. I'm just talking about the Sonics. Like, just let's raise the level now, bro. Like, and you know what, you right, Sam. Benny Hit Boy is proven that he can do whatever you want to do. Yeah. And Hit Boy as a producer still has to work with the artist and give the artist what he wants. Yeah. Maybe it's time for some Hit Boy curation. Hit Boy and somebody else alongside, you know what I'm saying? And then y'all can curate a project together. Yeah. Maybe let like, because Benny, I get the sense that he's a control freak. Like, he wants his shit to sound a certain way. Maybe it's time for him to be led. You know what I mean?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Because to me, Burden of Proof, like, I was excited because I said, if this is what that sounds like, what's next?
Right.
And I felt like with Tana Talk 4, and even with this, I think he's kind of went backwards as far as like leveling up the sound. Granted, Tana Talk 4 producer-wise was fire, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But he was doing this, and he's about to be out of here. Then he just kind of leaned more into what got him to that place. And
I mean, to be fair, Tana Talk 4 did get him his first plat. So
true.
I mean,
true.
So we're gonna see. We'll see what the metric will look like off of this album.
Damn, and
I don't see a Johnny P's Caddy.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, every time we could say something during this recording, someone else says, "But it's work." But he got a. So it's like, all right, he got a plaque, I should say. So maybe we don't know what the fuck we talking about. This album's gonna be crazy. You know what I mean?
No, it speaks to it, like you were saying, it speaks to where he's at in his career. You know what I mean? Trying to be a lot of different things to a lot of different audiences.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Not at all.
It's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the reaction to Everybody Can't Go. Benny the Butcher. If nothing else, he's created a conversation that's gonna last for a while. And that's what you want with art at the end of the day. You don't want it to just be here, ingest, and I'm out. Like, he created a lot of conversations. I noticed that Twitter's been very quiet so far. Like, people, the takes ain't been flying, which means that
it's still early.
They still trying to digest what they heard and that's a good thing. You know what I mean? That's because if it was trash, Twitter would have been melting since the night before. So people are trying to ingest it and figure it out, just like the Rap Roundtable. But everybody, make sure that y'all don't leave. We got an interview with I Am God coming up. His album is out right now, Bloodstained Suede Part 2. So lock in with that. Great interview, great vibe, and his music is top tier. So don't play yourself. Y'all love real hip hop, but y'all stay playing yourself when it's time to tap in with the real shit. So make sure you lock in. Peace. I Am God in the building. Bloodstained Suede 2 is out right now. It's a friend of the show, a person who's been in our comment section. He's been on stream with us, and now he gets to chop it up with us officially. You know, a little interview vibe with the Rap Roundtable. You know what I'm saying? I Am God, Chicago's very own. Are you from the north side or the south side? Talk to us, man.
So I'm from the southwest side, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So you see the Sox cap, that's like that south side badge. But, you know, my neighborhood was kind of like in the middle. 15 minutes this way, you could be on the south side, Inglewood, 63rd and Western, all that shit. 15 minutes that way, you could be on the west side, you know what I'm saying? That's motherfucking Madison, Roosevelt, all that shit. So I consider myself a south sider because when I wasn't in my old neighborhood, shout out Leclerc Courts, I was always out south somewhere, 83rd and Racine. 63rd and Western. I went to high school on 55th and Garfield, 55th and Low. You know what I'm saying? But Southwest side. So, you know what I'm saying? Depending on who you ask.
Okay. You know, because, you know, we know that's important because, you know, like New Yorkers, our boroughs are very key. Like, it ain't just New York. It's Brooklyn. It's Uptown. It's Staten Island sometimes. Queens. You know what I mean? You know what it is. But, fellas, you know, we got this brother on here. We're going to talk about this project, but we're going to work our way to that.
Yeah.
More importantly, you know, you're a person who's very much dedicated to the craft. So we want to start at the very beginning as far as your artistry. When did you start to rap? How old were you? How old when you started to take it seriously? Things of that nature.
So I was probably like 10 when I like tried to pen my first bars. And of course that shit was trash because what do a 9-year-old have to talk, 10-year-old have to talk about? You know what I'm saying? So probably around like 10, I think what inspired me to get into that is the Tupac Brenda's Got a Baby video. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw this at 5, you know what I'm saying? So you all know the vibe, you know what I'm saying? Black and white video, but it's kind of graphic because it shows Shorty on the floor and then it show a place in what's supposed to be a baby in the dumpster. And at 5 years old, I ain't got no business seeing no shit like that. So I'm like, I'm kind of scared, but I couldn't look away. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that intrigued me, that story. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then to go on years later and find out that was a true story. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what opened me up mentally as far as like the rap shit. But I probably penned my first bars at like 10, and I probably was taking it serious from like 12 on, but I didn't get good to probably about like 14, some shit like that. 13.
High school.
Yeah, like rap school, like right before. Yeah, you right, Deanie. High school, but like I started to get like a little recognition, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, because I started like the music teacher, like shout out Mr. Davis. You know what I'm saying? He used to let me and a couple other dudes like get on stage at the assemblies and rock. You know what I'm saying? You had to come up with a song to fit the occasion of the assembly. You know what I'm saying? I go from a lame to like, you know what I'm saying, motherfucker who ain't nobody paying me no mind to like cheerleaders, 8th graders, hey Tobias, all that shit. I'm like, oh shit, like that's what's up. Okay.
That energy.
So was it like just random bars, or were you writing songs or trying to write songs at first?
So at first, I can't really remember, but I had no concept of anything. I knew songs because back then that's what it was. It was songs. Like I wasn't old enough to be privy to the mixtape game. So I didn't know nothing about a freestyle, you know what I'm saying, or 100 bars consecutive, like no breaks, no none of that shit. So I probably was writing songs, you know what I'm saying, trying to like incorporate hooks and choruses and shit like that. But yeah, it was just mimicking whatever I liked at the time. You know, when you that young, you so impressionable, you know what I'm saying? So you basically just I literally rap like all my favorite rappers throughout time until I got to a certain age and was able to ball that shit up and manifest it into who I am. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't rap like everybody from Twista to niggas from the South like Juvenile to Jadakiss to Cassidy. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't try to mimic everybody in my younger years.
Okay.
Now here at the table, I mean, we've talked recently about, you know, the Backpacker vibes and having ciphers. We've also talked about like classic lore in terms of like freestyle battles between like Jay-Z and DMX and stuff like that. So in your city, in Chicago, what was that vibe like? Like starting out early on, you know what I mean? Like what was the vibes like battling or ciphers and stuff like that? You know what I mean?
See, I'm salty because that era kind of predated me being in it like that. You know what I'm saying? And Chicago definitely had a scene. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a time. And I wish I was like, I always think like, damn, like I wish I was born in like 72 instead of 86 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
because it's like, I feel like I missed a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I'm an old soul with this shit. Like I'm about to be 38 and shit. You know what I'm saying? This year. But it's like, I feel like when it comes to certain shit, just like I belong in a different class. Like motherfuckers might laugh or might say this nigga tweaking or whatever the case, but I feel like I belong amongst the likes of like a Nas or a Jay-Z or Pac or Big. Like them niggas talk me. So of course, that's what I aspire to be. And it ain't just that cliche default rap nigga talk or what I'm supposed to say. Like, no, I feel like
the best. Yeah.
Nah, because it's good that you said that because people will try to, that's what he's supposed to say. So I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Yeah, and it's not that. It's not the default cliche rap nigga shit like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to say. Like, nah. Like I feel that way because them the niggas who I studied, you know what I'm saying, for the majority as far as like what I wanted my shit to look like, what I wanted my shit to sound like. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of missed that era, but from the stories I hear, like, you know, Chicago, we take shit from a lot of different places. We right in the middle of everything. So of course, New York was a big ass influence on the crib, just like New York influenced everybody. I don't give a fuck where you from, how you give it up, like you coming. You know what I'm saying? So we get everywhere. I feel like Chicago is like city-fied country niggas because like our roots is so deep in the South, and I don't even know. I'm pretty sure I got family, but I don't know none of my family from the South. I've been to the South, but not like on no family reunion type shit. But it's like you could just see it. Like now that this internet shit is so fucking wide open and you can see how motherfuckers live in other regions and other areas and shit, like Chicago niggas is definitely like city-fied country niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like country niggas in big cities type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was like dope ass hip hop clubs and shit like that, legendary DJs. The name I hear the most is DJ Pink House, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? He kind of like, I don't want to misspeak and say kicked it off. I just say he was a forefather for trying to put hip hop at the forefront in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? But again, rest in peace, DJ Timbuktu. You know what I'm saying? He was more so my era. You know what I'm saying? As far as like still championing the raw shit. You know what I'm saying? And not just playing the playlist that the programmers give you or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? And like even when during a blog era, like around the early 2010s and shit, like Fake Short Drive, shout out Andrew Barber and all them, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's when I kind of started like hitting the internet with my shit. And I was kind of like a recluse back then. Like I was still under the impression that I could do this shit from behind a keyboard and a screen and still get put on because again, I'm an old soul with this shit. I studied the older niggas so hard, it kind of hindered me a little bit because I couldn't see past their style of how they got on. But my nigga, this ain't the 90s no more. Like it's a whole different era out here. You got this internet shit. No A&Rs coming to look for you no more. Everybody's out now. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I was still under that act. Like motherfuckers will find me. I'm dope. Like, nah, motherfuckers will find me. Like on some almost entitled shit. Right. You know, so I came outside a little late. I was always doing it, but like really getting outside with it, I was in my 20s, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't. But like on some regular shit, like in my neighborhood, like it was like the regular lunchroom shit. But it's definitely like legendary Chicago shit that was going on. Unfortunately, I just wasn't around for it. So I really can't speak to it other than secondhand information that I've been passed down.
Copy.
Macito, jump in, bro.
Nah, but even in the era you speak about, you know what I mean? You got Lupe, you got the Cool Kids, you know what I mean? You got a lot of shit going on in Chicago. So I can see even in the era, that little in-between era of Chicago that people like to pretend to forget, you know what I mean? From the Ye Common era to now the drill era. Right in the middle of there's a lot of good rap that was coming out. So I can see an artist like yourself being inspired by Twista's more the early age, but I'm talking about that middle area that people don't really speak about. So I can see you really being inspired or coming up in that era too, because a lot of lyrically dexterous stuff going on, a lot of experimental sounds. So I can see that as well.
Absolutely. Like I always give it up to the East Coast though, because New York niggas like raised me lyrically. They taught me how to rap. Like Chicago niggas was the hometown heroes who put the bug in my ear and who put the battery in my back, so to speak. So always like it's always gonna be love, and you know what I'm saying, to the legends like Twista, Common, Lupe, niggas like Bump J, you know what I'm saying, DA Smart, Lock Hill, you know what I'm saying, like my nigga Griffin, like even motherfuckers that's more so my age and my era, like niggas like Vic Spencer and shit like that never wavered and been doing this shit for decades. Like it's always gonna be love to them. Like Ill State Assassins, Max Crew, Color One, you know what I'm saying, Psychodrama, The Brat, Crucial Conflict, Twista, you know what I'm saying, Sean Latifah, Infamous Syndicate, even niggas like Cap One, you know what I'm saying. So it's like it's always love to them because they taught me how to rap as well. But like at that age to where I was really formulating and putting myself together as an MC, it was niggas like Jadakiss, it was niggas like Cassidy, it was, and I know he Philly, but East Coast shit, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's niggas like Nas, Jay, Big, you know what I'm saying? Pac to a certain extent, that's New York via West Coast or West Coast via New York, however you want to put it. Q, right. You know what I'm saying? Pun, X, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers like that, you know, so yeah, but like I feel like most of my goats come from, you know what I'm saying, come from y'all land. Like I was a big East Coast head, and I think shout out my cousin, you know what I'm saying? My cousin Fluid, you know what I'm saying? He used to rap and had a rap group and shit, The Faction. Like, I used to spend summers with him, and he stayed in Indiana and shit. And like, he remember the big ass CD binders and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it was like him rummaging through his shit when he was going at work, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to find shit. Like, he put me on to like a lot of shit like Wu-Tang and Dice Raw, and you know what I'm saying, not Common, but Mos Def and Talib Kweli. Like a lot of that shit came from him because he was kind of like neo soul and shit too. Like they fucked with some hardcore gangster shit, but they was more like on the neo soul shit too. So yeah, bro.
And it's kind of funny how full circle. No, I was just gonna say it's kind of he speaks about his New York influence. I was gonna say it's funny how full circle things happen because now all the New York kids want to sound like Chicago rappers.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
You know what I mean? It's crazy,
crazy world, man.
Crazy.
But then go ahead, brother.
We don't want to get too far into the album because we know we're gonna get there in a second. But you know, listening to the new album, there's definitely a little West Coast influence, little West Coast bounce sprinkled in there.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. But Dini had a question.
So shout out to the rich history of Chicago, like Mace already mentioned. Whether you go from the straight up lyricists like Common, Lupe, you know what I'm saying, whether you go to the drill scene, which was a pivotal move in hip hop, we're not gonna act like it's not. You know what I'm saying? I see the way you rep Chicago, and we've been talking about Chicago for the last few. But what does like Chicago mean specifically to you? I hear it in your music, I see it on the Fitted, I hear it when you speak, when you rap. It's special to you. I want to explain what that means to you.
It's the city of broad shoulders, bro. And you know, I just feel like over the years, these last few recent years, I'm not gonna say purposely disrespected or no shit like that, but it's like I really feel like niggas forgot. Like once this drill wave came, you know what I'm saying? Like the drill wave kind of came with the boom of the internet and social media and all that shit. So 2 + 2 is 4. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like I'm of the age to where like, that's not my era. Like it is what it is. Like I gotta respect it, you know what I'm saying, because it's here. But like I said, I'm about to be 38, you know what I'm saying? So you know who I came up under, you know what I'm saying? So it's like my thing was to reintroduce or to help reintroduce motherfuckers to the crib and let motherfuckers really know, like, bro, we got it. We super raw out here. Like, fuck me, bro. Like, we never lost that shit and we never stopped doing it. It's just what the spotlight was on at the time and what certain motherfuckers was focusing on.
True. What was that phrase that you always say about Chicago and rapping?
Chicago never forgot how to rap, bro. If you see that hashtag, that's me. Chicago never forgot how to rap. Never,
there
bro.
There it is. Like not now, Dini's question and your phrase, now it all comes together. Like it seems like you really wear that Chicago flag, like you trying to show a different side of it. It's not just about the drilling, it's still about the bars and the overall music making it. It's not just one thing, which I appreciate. You know what I mean? I think the internet has made everything so label heavy. Like, all right, Chicago does this, New York does this, the South does this. So to show the versatility in that, in a regionless world, we can do anything we want to do. I respect that. But let's talk about the music. Since I know you're about to get into that wave, so I'm gonna clear out.
Oh, nah, it was actually more related to what he was talking about with his influences. You know what I mean? Because I could definitely hear like a little bit of West Coast influence. I'm definitely, I'm gonna sit back and, have New York receive the flowers all day, every day. Like,
of course,
let the world know. You know what I mean? But I definitely, feel a little West Coast influence, and I wanted to see if we could expand on that a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like who was feeding him that energy from the West Coast?
Good question.
I would have to say that's by chance, because no disrespect to the West, because some of my favorites come from there too, but I never really paid attention too heavy to one particular artist to try to mold myself after. And if I did, it was Cube. Like, I love Death Certificate. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's one of the greatest albums of all time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I definitely take cue from him, a little bit from Pac as well, but it's kind of like, you would have to explain the nuances and what you mean when you say the influence from the West, because honestly, I don't see it. And it's not no disrespect. I love the West Coast. I love their history, what they laid down, what they continuing to do this day. But it's just like, I know I molded myself after certain individuals, and it's like, I would have to say, if it's anybody from the West, it'll definitely be Cube. I feel like sometimes I could get a little aggressive and passionate with the bars, and that's that Pac influence, you know what I'm saying, that late Pac influence, the ability and the comfortability to like reach within the depths of my soul and get personal about certain shit. That's also something that I learned from Pac and that I admired about him. My socio-political shit, when I get on my shit, my reality rap, so to speak, like that's definitely a heavy influence from Cube. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's like I never like it's funny because it took me a while to kind of warm up to West Coast music. As a shorty, you just go with like what's popular. You know what I'm saying? At that time, New York was killing shit. Like New York was the dominant sound.
Talk about it.
It's it was the lyricism that attracted me. Like I was always good in like English and like literature and shit like that anyway. So I felt like it only made sense. Like New York rap niggas made me go pick up a dictionary, bro. Like I used to walk around with a dictionary, shorty, you know what I'm saying, trying to learn new words to incorporate in the bars. It's like I don't want to say it the regular way. Let me be able to fuck them up and say it a different way.
That's powerful.
Listen, and I appreciate you saying that and being, and wearing that and being proud of that, because a lot of motherfuckers out here would be like, oh, this guy is spitting all these words. I gotta go look it up in the dictionary. I'm not gonna listen to that shit. But like, there's certain listeners that will be like, yo, let me learn what that word is. Let me learn what social political comment, topics they're talking about. You know what I mean? You learn that way. You know what I mean?
But I'm a thinker too, bro. Like I'm not just out here on no Neanderthal sleep ass shit. And no disrespect to nobody. Like it just is what it is. Like I'm a thinker. You know what I'm saying? Like it just that's just in my makeup. It's nothing that I try to portray myself as, or I'm always deep in thought about something. Like I'm always in my head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like I'm an analytical type of person when it comes to most things. You know what I'm saying? So
you can hear it in the music.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. It's just something that I developed over time.
So I have a question now with this project that's out today. Make sure y'all run it up on those DSPs.
Absolutely.
We have Bloodstained Suede 1. Now we have the sequel. Sonically, or artistically, creatively, is this a direct sequel? Is it what are the tie-ins from part 1 to part 2?
So if anything, okay, so Bloodstained Suede, the first joint, it was kind of heavy in the gratitude, bro. The blaxploitation sonics, you know what I'm saying? Right. The soundscapes, as y'all like to say, you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you.
You already know, motherfucker tapped in, bro.
I respect that.
Yes, sir.
Absolute,
#soundscape.
Yes, sir. You
I love that.
Know. Yes, sir. So the first joint, and like it had a little bit of. The first one had a little bit of like some 80s kind of like R&B pop shit with it too. You know what I'm saying? But this one is just more so sonically, it's more so it's still Clipto, you know what I'm saying? So
salute.
Yeah, absolutely. Bro is a motherfucking beast. You know what I'm saying? He do what he do and he do it well. It's not a direct reflection of Bloodstained Suede 1, because to tell the truth, bro, like I listened to y'all breakdown and y'all review of the first one, and it's things that y'all said that made me think and go, all right, bet. And there's also things that I already knew and had in me, but it's kind of like I never want to force nothing. I'm a move to the rhythm of my own drum type nigga. So certain shit, like Job, I remember you were saying like certain joints, like I wish he would have switched up the pocket and gave us some little melody or harmony or something. And I got that in me. It's just I had to, because to go back a little bit, like I probably quit rapping in like 2016 and I ain't come back till late 2019. You know, so it's kind of like I knew who I was, but I was also rediscovering myself as an artist, and I still am to this day, because like sky's the limit. Like I was under the impression that shit had to be formulaic and you had to do it this way. You know what I'm saying? And now as you get older, you gain new wisdom and knowledge about certain things, and just you continue to come into your own being of who you are. And it's kind of like, I'm self-proclaimed underground, but that don't mean I gotta sound one way. You know what I'm saying? Like I have multiple talents and there's multiple things that I feel like I can be 100% me and still incorporate into the music. So I'm gonna do that. So you get more melody on this joint. This is the first project to when I'm actually talking directly to the ladies. I did it in the past, you know what I'm saying? But it's like this the first time since being back that I spent them, because I love women. Like, let's keep it a buck. Like, it ain't nothing wrong with the ladies. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and I seriously dedicated a joint to them on some, to the point where niggas might not feel comfortable listening. But if you are comfortable, you a man's man, you gonna know like
feel it. I know the joint you're talking about. Listen, we listen to Ghostface, we listen to Nelly. You know what I mean?
It's all about dexterity, bro.
Listen,
and that's exactly Ghostface, another one that had a heavy influence on me after I got old enough to understand what niggas was talking about, because I didn't know what the fuck we was on at 12, 13, 14 years.
It was a vibe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So once I hit like 18, 19, 20s and shit like that, I'm like, okay, Ghost is definitely another one. But yeah, so it's just like me, you know what I'm saying, just getting more comfortable, and just like, my thing is, bro, I don't ever want to give y'all the same shit over and over and over. I'm not one of them type of artists. And I do bounce between certain vibes. Like I like to do my grimy shit, my aggressive shit. I like to do my more smoother shit. And it's Clipto that introduced me to that shit, because everything was kind of hard and aggressive and super boom bap. And then he started hitting me with them drumless joints and then them loops, and it's like the soulful shit. And I'm like, I actually struggle with, you know what I'm saying, trying to like adjust my style and pivot to that. And I'm like, damn, well, why is you struggling? Like, nigga, you an artist, you pride yourself in doing different shit. Like, just do your shit. And then once it clicked. So like it's some different shit on here. I feel like I kind of long-winded, but Bloodstained Suede 2 is kind of like a culmination of everything that I've given y'all thus far. This is my sixth project, you know what I'm saying, since 2020. So it's kind of like, this is a culmination of like sonically of everything I feel like that I've given y'all before. It's some hard shit on there. You got some super smooth shit on there. You got some super soulful shit on there. You know, it's just like I be trying to flex the artistic muscle and show my creativity and show motherfuckers what I could really do as an artist. Because motherfuckers already know I'm an elite MC. I'm an elite rapper. Like, I want that status to where it's like, okay, you got to use the word artist when you speak my name. And that don't necessarily mean going super far left. You know what I'm saying? It just means like taking what it is that I know I could do inside me and finding a way to communicate that shit artistically.
And one thing I gotta, sorry about that thing. One thing I gotta compliment you guys on, because just like you mentioned, you do try a lot of new things on Bloodstained Suede too. But the good thing about this sequel, specifically with you and Clipto's performance, is that you guys keep the best elements of Bloodstained Suede 1, but add enough in part 2 that it's like, okay, you're combining the new and the classic like you're supposed to. So compliments to you guys on that. One thing I want to say that I would like to see new out of Bloodstained Suede 2, because like you say, it's a project that delves in a lot of sounds. How would you guys be going as far as visuals for the album? Because, you know, you got a lot of visuals out, especially from Chicago where Hate, you know, with Fillmore Green, that went up. But as far as visuals for Bloodstained Suede 2, if there was any tracks on there that you feel like demands, you know, something that needs to be seen, what would you pick up over there?
So I actually got some shit coming. I don't want to say too much, but I got like, I'm trying out this new method of like kind of like not stepping away from, but kind of like, you know, not doing necessarily full-length music videos for everything, because you know the attention span is so short these days. So kind of like not clips, but kind of like a sample video almost. I might give you a visual of a verse from this joint,
like the purple joints.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those were fire.
Yes, sir. Shout out APJ, Purple Box. You know what I'm saying? His movement, like That shit raw as hell. So I'm kind of like trying my hand with that. So I got a few in the tuck, and like I'm gonna just let this one out. Like I definitely plan on doing a visual for the joint for the chicks. The If You Down I'm Ready shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got a dope ass concept for that one that I think like without having to like be super raunchy and like show a woman in a certain light, I still want her to get her sexiness off, but still in a comfortable manner. You know what I'm saying? And not have to look a certain way, because we got enough of the overly sexual, hyper sexual shit out here. That ain't really my bag.
Talk about it.
Right. I'm a real. That's for behind closed doors. Motherfucker trying to see what I'm on that type of time. Like, all right, shorty, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not for public consumption like that. I'm not necessarily selling sex like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, that's definitely one of them I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely gonna be some visuals, because you know I didn't really. I don't think I did no visuals for
Lost Ways. I was I needed dialogue of what's my drink? Dialogue of a Living Man. I needed that. Where was that?
I still might get that. Like it ain't
for part two. I know we can get it for part two.
I ain't gonna hold you. We could get a little cinematic bundle 1 and 2 together into one whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that nigga Jarv, bro. Hey, we be having them conversations, bro. Yes, sir.
Fact, let me tell you, you definitely showed your range on this project, because we were just talking about If You Down. You know what I mean? The joint right before that, Hustlers and Survivors, might be one of my favorite, if not my favorite joint on the project. Very real song, bro. You talked about like some super real shit, you know, crazy real life stuff. Now, one of the realest bars that you had in there, I didn't memorize it verbatim, but you were talking about the DSPs, you know what I mean? Like you're out here as an artist. The era is different. You out here on the DSPs and they're paying fractions on the penny per stream. Expand on that. Tell us more about your thoughts on that, because I know we've talked about that heavy here at the Rap Roundtable. What are your thoughts on this era, the streaming? If it's broken, how do we fix it? You know what I mean? Let us know.
To put it plain as I can, it's trash. It's garbage. You know what I'm saying? I feel like how slavery transitioned into jail and private prisons. I feel like record labels and record deals and all that shit transformed and transitioned into streaming. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the labels had to make a move to where they was gonna still get theirs, but it just looked different. You know what I'm saying? It's a new era. The aesthetic is different, so it's not the same. Physicals is gone, which on some underground shit they popping. You know what I'm saying? But like as far as like going to a Tower Music or a Sam Goody or a Mom and Pops and grabbing a CD for $15.99 or however much, that shit is basically dead. You know, so I feel like that's their modernization of what they've been on since day one.
Yeah.
How we fix it?
Exploitation.
Yeah, absolutely. How we fix it? I'm not sure. I see a lot of my fellow artists, you know what I'm saying, like championing the or campaigning for artists to get super DIY and like build your own websites and things like that. And I'm definitely all for that as well. Like I plan on doing something like that in the future, but you know, I'm always candid about this aspect of it. I ain't never trying to portray myself as something I'm not, or like I got something I don't. Like this shit's still a grind and a financial burden at the end of the day. So it's kind of like you already paying for everything under the sun as an artist, whether it be a feature, whether it's studio time, whether it's video shoots, whether it's whatever I said features, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case, beats, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying, like it's always an expense. So my thing is I try to minimize the expenses as much as possible, you know what I'm saying, and still try to work with the resources I have and give the best possible art that I can at the moment. So personally, I'm not ready for another expense as far as this music shit, you know what I'm saying. So a website where you could just come straight to me and get my shit would be that deal. But at the same time, that's kind of what like a Bandcamp is for. You know what I'm saying? So they take a little bit of it, but at least they do the Bandcamp Friday shit to where they don't take nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's honorable. I'll rock with Bandcamp for that. But at the end of the day, I'm still at such a low level in this music shit, even though I am starting to incline a little bit. I don't feel like I can afford to take my shit off streaming and continue to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Tough.
that end of it. You got to weigh the good and the bad.
You got to make it count somehow.
Yes.
So let me ask you this as far as the project goes, because we're running a little short on time, and I want to make sure that we represent this project again. Bloodstained Suede 2 is out right now. There's a person who's going to come into this project. They didn't hear your previous 5 works. Part 2 is the entry to I Am God.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one song that you feel like that new perspective listener should go to on this project, what would it be?
Oh shit.
Ask you to pick your favorite child, man. It's kind of hard, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Which one talks to you, God? Which one?
Word.
I would have to say Dialogue of Living Man too, because
It is.
it's one of them
Heavy.
soul-bearing
It's one of
joints.
those.
I got one more question. Due to the fact that, you know, when we first, you know what I'm saying, linked up, that was a New York Chicago connection.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? When you was at Magoo's, you did the audio knock joint.
Yes,
New
sir.
York Chicago connection. Here we are again, New York Chicago connection. You had an artist on your project, on this new project, friend of the table. Shout out to the brother Rim. You know what I'm saying? How did that happen? Like,
So
how did that feature occur?
I met bro doing the audio narco tour. Shout out Rome Streets Coach, Ram.
Salute.
You know what I'm saying?
Good dudes.
Yes, sir. My guy Skanks, the rap martyr, you know what I'm saying? I met him through Vic, you know what I'm saying? Like Vic is the niggas that motherfuckers come to see, you know what I'm saying? One of the few niggas that I know personally that niggas come see when they come from out of town. And that's everybody from West Side, Griselda, you know what I'm saying? Stove, Rome, you know what I'm saying? Like you name them. Like they come see bro when they come to the crib. So he had invited me out to a video shoot, and it's a joint that he had with Ram. And you know, Rome had like a in-store at what is it? It wasn't Juggernaut. What was it at? Leaders. He had a in-store at Leaders. You know what I'm saying? It's a popular spot from the crib. Some real foundational shit. You know, shout out Leaders. And me and Rim was just outside, just like chopping it up, like we knew each other forever. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
Rim though. Rim, you
Cool
talk
nigga,
to
man.
Rim, you'll be there for an hour chopping it with Rim.
yeah, like you know genuine niggas when you meet them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rim is a real
That's
genuine nigga, real down to earth ass nigga.
From the
And I
Ville.
appreciate his perspective on shit. You know what I'm saying? And we was just chopping it up, bro. Motherfuckers exchange numbers. Like a lot of times niggas don't even like give you the number. And I ain't even like, I'm bad as hell at networking because I like, bro, I think I'll lose my shit and end up in jail or getting fucked up if a nigga try to pay me like a fan. So I'll lose my
I feel you.
I'm bad at networking, bro, because I be around certain shit and certain motherfuckers, and it's like it's too many niggas in this face already. I'm over here with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I'm the same way sometimes, you know, because the thing is that fine line between networking and a nigga think you dick riding. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's real funny in the
Wow.
rap world.
It's a
Right.
thin
yeah.
line.
And I got very fragile pride, even still at 37. Like I keep myself out of certain situations. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Ram, he was just a cool ass nigga, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely like a motherfucker who I locked in with, you know what I'm saying, on some shit. And you know what I'm saying? I hit bro up and shit. He blessed the motherfucker, bro. Shout out.
Flamed.
Ram. Yes,
But
sir.
yeah, you were saying Bloodstained Suede 2 as to that was your pick. You were about to explain why that would be the song for your new fan to lock in on. Like, just give us a couple of elements as to why before we wrap it up.
Okay, so Dialogue of Living Man 2, that's kind of like the alternate flow. So you can see first and foremost, it's the aesthetic, right? When you see something, you see it visually first. Or if it's food, you smell it first. In this case, you're gonna hear it. So you're gonna hit a double time and shit like that, you know, kind of trappy kind of flow over some soulful type shit over soul sample. So it's like, okay, I got that in the bag. I could do that. I'm from Chicago. Most of us grew up rapping like that. You know what I'm saying? But also it's another one of them soul bearing joints. And I feel like it's a complimentary follow-up to the first one. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The first one was very soulful, but it was the slow flow and it was still soul-bearing, real talk. And this one is just, it picks up where that one left off and it just continues that narrative. This could potentially be something like Kendrick's The Heart. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
but I could definitely see myself like doing more of these because I love that feel. Like I love talking to the people and giving them me where I'm at right now. So if you want to know about me, just like if you could train your ear to hear through the double time and shit, you know what I'm saying, and catch some of the shit that I'm saying, like you will really get to know me as a man. Like I don't really try to put that much separation between I Am God and Tobias West. Like he is I and I am him. Like one is the other is the one. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really too much of a difference. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. And do we have any more questions? I don't want to rush off the table. I know Sid might have another one.
Yeah, real quick before we get out of here. Chicago Mount Rushmore.
Oh, my Chicago Mount Rushmore is definitely Twista. I gotta throw Shauna on there to represent for the ladies. I'm gonna throw Common on there. Rushmore is what? 4?
4.
4. Okay, so I got Twista, I got Common, I got Shauna, and who will my last one be?
Lou?
Turbo.
Lupe?
I'm trying to see. Yeah, I gotta make this one count. Twista, Shauna, Common.
No judgment.
It's so many, bro. Like I'm really trying to see, like
it is.
That 4 limits you.
You got a lot of niggas that
you're not putting Ye up there? No Ye?
See, but Ye could kind of be represented through other niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because like Traxter, No ID. Like I damn near want to put. I'm gonna have to put Traxter in there, bro. So I can see the artist and producer. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's 4.
Common, Shauna, and Trax.
Nah, and the last question is, we speak about Dini spoke about the New York Chicago connection. When you coming to our stomping grounds, man? When you coming to the crib?
Pull up, nigga.
Hey, that's the next motherfucking plan of action, bro. I gotta get out the crib and spread the wings a little bit and show my face. So whenever that time comes, y'all gonna be the first motherfuckers I hit. Know that.
Say less, man.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
My nigga K Burns, yes sir.
The scene out here will definitely embrace you immediately, and you know what? Getting to chop it up with you on this interview vibe, we get to hear your passion and your competitiveness because we know we made that list and you wasn't on there. And I Am God was not pleased with the rap roundtable about that list.
It wasn't us, y'all. Hey, I don't know who. Hey, real quick, when we get out of here, I don't know who was behind the account at that time, but it was a direct to y'all. Yes, y'all was definitely included in that.
I know we
were. It was not a direct shot. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is this, bro. I understand there's a lot of niggas outworking me right now, putting out multiple shit, and niggas is rapping at a very high level. I definitely get that. You know what I'm saying? Salute to them brothers, them sisters, keep doing y'all motherfucking thing. But nigga, I'm here. One project, you have to mention my name. Like the lyrical dexterity is there. I don't give a fuck who it is. Like I feel like if I'm not better than niggas, I'm right there with niggas. I don't care who you name. I mean, everybody. There is no nigga, no female that's exempt, no class, no generation. I am here. Like, I know I put in my 20,000 hours in this shit. I know my capability. I know my potential. I know my history. You gotta mention the God, bro. Like, I don't care if I only drop once and niggas drop 10 times. You can't tell me that one time ain't worthy of a mention. I ain't necessarily got to make the 1 through 10, but you can't tell me it ain't worth a mention. So that's all I was saying. Sometimes you got to yell to the sky. I don't like doing that shit because I feel like if you got to say it, then you ain't really there yet. But sometimes I feel like you got to yell to the sky and let motherfucker know, like, hey, bro, y'all missed the motherfucker over here. Come back, bro.
Yeah. Blood.
But it's love, though. It's love. Much love to y'all.
It's out right now.
Absolutely.
I Am God. Much
shout
love.
out Clippo. No mediocre shit.
Yo, real quick, and before we go, shout out to Vic. I did bad. I've been meaning to get up with Vic since late last year. We're gonna have to connect this year. That guy's music is incredible. Just the scheduling, like as you see, we're trying to figure this out ourselves. So it's like I think I spoke to Vic like 3 different times trying to put it together, and I never followed up. So that's on me. But we're gonna do that, Vic. 2024, don't kill us. 2024, you're gonna be on the rap round table. But yo, I Am God. We appreciate you, family.
Love, fellas. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man.
Salute, my guy.
Salute,
yes, sir.